So the Pro and Con Show, Friday, November 1st. Again, thank God it's the weekend. So it's going to be a short show today in the news. So again, hoping everyone will, embrace, opposing views at least enough to understand them. You may not agree with them, but at least understand where they're coming from. And focus on the facts, the who, the what, the where, and the when. So in the news tonight, of course, there's ongoing stuff about impeachment with Mr. Trump. But the big news that's flashing across all five of the information streams that I follow, so the Huffington Post, CNN, NPR, Fox News, and Breitbart, is that Beto O'Rourke has decided that he is going to drop out of the Democratic race. And so that's actually the main headline as you go across all of these. Yeah, stop that. So NPR here, again, kind of the unbiased thing. So what did they say? They said a former representative from Texas struggled to translate the energy from his 2018 Senate bid into a successful White House campaign. Fox News, Beto says bye-bye. One-time Democrat darling, Beto O'Rourke ends presidential bid, won't say who he'll endorse. We'll come back to that in a second. And then Breitbart, they're quite happy, of course. Bye-bye, Beto. So I just wanted to talk briefly about the Democratic race. So I think that still leaves either 14 or 15 potential people that are still in the race. So there's a Williams and Tom Steyer and so on and so forth. But even just, it was probably 2 months ago, and I had this little sticky note here, and I said 2 months ago when there was 23 or 24, there's really only 8. Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Castro, Booker, Warren, Sanders, Harris, and Biden. Those were the 8. And now, effectively, there's really only 4 or 5. If you look at the polling in Iowa, there's really 4 that are polling pretty strongly, and then a 5th one that's kind of behind the first group. So you've got these mostly fairly moderate Democrats, fairly moderate ones. So there's 3 of those: Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Biden. And then you've got the 2 that are definitely very liberal, is the best way to talk about them. So that's Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. And so there's really effectively 4 or 5. And Ms. Klobuchar, she has, she's going to have to get some wind under her wings. Otherwise, it's very quickly going to be effectively 4. And so the main point is that, as you look at potential replacements for Mr. Trump, it's going to be one of these 4 or 5 people. Julio Castro, Booker, Harris, they just aren't. In fact, there's other headlines that Kamala Harris has been forced to start reducing staff and stuff like that because her campaign is not garnering enough attention and enough donations to continue with full staffing in some of the places she'd been in the past. And it's just as well. Okay, we get down to 5 people, 3 of them fairly conservative or moderate, and 2 of them more liberal. That's plenty. And I would say all of them, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Warren, Sanders, or Biden, they would be solid replacements for Mr. Trump in the office of president. Better. Now, you argue how much better, But again, Mr. Trump suffers from early onset dementia, and he's a con man and has been all his life. And again, some of you like that, like the fact that he's a con man. But early onset dementia, we can't be in the office of president. Sorry, it's not appropriate to have somebody that isn't of right mind in the office. So we'll see what happens with these 5, but here it is, November 1st, 2019, and almost a year to the actual election, and really 5 potential candidates, 4 or 5. So again, Buttigieg, Warren, Sanders, and Biden are all kind of neck and neck, both nationally and in Iowa, the first caucus. And then Klobuchar is coming up behind, and then everyone else, whatever there are, the other 8 or 9 or 10 that are left, they're barely polling, and rightly so, I suppose. Okay, so be focused on these 5 or 6. So going back, who are they going to endorse? So when these people drop out of the race, none of them should endorse anybody. They should also make the same statement, which is hopefully what most of us will do, again, because Mr. Trump cannot be president again because of early onset dementia, cannot be allowed to occur. So whoever's opposing him in the Democratic Party, again, we have the 2-party system, so that's our other offering. That's it. So Mr. Trump or the Democrat. And since Mr. Trump cannot be the president again because of early onset dementia, and some would argue because he's a con man, but okay, early onset dementia, then whoever ends up being the Democratic nominee, they need to get the endorsement from everybody. Okay, and everybody that doesn't believe in Mr. Trump and acknowledges that his mental capacity is severely degraded and getting worse on a daily basis. We all need to rally around that other person, regardless of how strongly you believe in their values or believe in what they're trying to establish. What they will establish is the mental capacity to actually hold the office of President of the United States. And that, more than anything, is what we need. We have to have. It's a must-have, not a like-to-have. Okay? All right, so for Friday, November 1st, 2019, I'm Michael James Ott. This is the Pro and Con Show. Until next show, bye for now.